know when we're live?
We're on.
We're on? Well, people of Barberton, finally, it's the Crispin Park Podcast. The People's Podcast. The Great People of Barberton's podcast. And our guest tonight is Romeo Travis. And we're waiting to see if we can't get his cousin Romeo Travis live from France. Romeo's in France playing ball, and it's 1 a.m. there, so we're going to wait to see. But before we get started, me personally, I just wanted to say a few thank yous to some people that have really had a great impact on my life. And if not for them, I wouldn't be here tonight doing this with Brian and Andre. I'm going to try not to forget anybody. John Shattuck, my brother Ben Petrie, Tim Widener, Donnie Pavlik, my mom, my wife, my kids, Moses Spartacus, Dane and Zipporah, Dick and Rick Hoyt, Steve Shaw, and last but not least, Jay Belkey and Mike Kuntz. Two brothers that when I got out of prison in Haiti, they came to my aid, and without them, I don't meet Dre, and without meeting Dre, there's no redemption story for me, and I'm not sitting here tonight. We'd like to dedicate this program to the great Molo Scott. Molo Scott was the greatest radio host in the history of the country of Haiti. He passed away a few weeks back. Yes, sac passe, Dre said, sac passe. Tout le monde en Haiti, Dre dit comme ça, sac passe. We want to dedicate this also to the late Ray Haynes. And Ray had a huge impact on my life. I loved him. And Ray had a saying that he always would say, everybody bats. And so tonight, everybody's going to bat.
That's right.
And also the late Jared Markham, a young man who lost his life back during the summer and had his life cut short far too soon in a car accident. And on that day, I happened to be a couple stones throw from where it happened in real time. And so, yes, to the Markham family, you guys are often in my thoughts. And I just wanted to say we're still thinking about you. So, Romeo Travis. Let me say thank you to you. I'm going to say, so we're going to be live every Thursday night at 7. And as we go forward, we're going to be available on different platforms. And we're going to update equipment, update cameras. We're going to have multiple cameras in here, multiple shots. We're all rookies at this. We're green at this. So we're just starting out. And for anyone who has read my book, Reach and Fall, I'm going to have a book sitting on this table every time. And for anyone who's reading the book or who has read the book and has a question, and it doesn't matter what the question may be, ask while we're live and I'll answer it. Yeah. Am I not generous? Am I not generous, Dre? Am I not generous? You're welcome.
If you really want me to be honest, but I just want to thank you for giving me my first.
Hey, man.
I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to see the world and fucking bound. Here we come, baby.
Dre's Boston Marathon bound. Jeff Chalmers. Of course, if you read my book, Jeff Chalmers is a legend. I end the book speaking about Jeff, and Jeff's going to be running the Boston Marathon with Dre whenever the hell this COVID crisis runs its damn course.
Yeah, the COVID.
Sooner the better.
The COVID never got me, baby.
Yeah, Dre unfortunately, because of COVID, Dre wasn't able to do anything. He wasn't able to get out and do his public speaking at all the schools we speak at. He wasn't able to get out and run. Special thank you to Brian Poland and the guys who pushed Dre to make his 8th consecutive Akron Marathon in December. 17 degrees. Dre did that in 17 degrees. Most able-bodied people in their right mind wouldn't go out in 17 degrees. Dre ran 26.2 miles in 17 degrees.
Yeah, I gotta give it up to God for that one.
Right.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know. It's not easy getting up every day and running. Especially for me, because if you look at it, a lot of people think I'm in the basement. you remember what we talked about when I first met you?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
We just talked about how you gave me your story, and I often felt like too many people babied you and treated you like a baby, and that you were a man and you didn't. In other words, like I could see in what was in you. Like I wanted to see you in a different environment, and so that's why we went where we went, because I was in a basement in prison in Haiti, and you had been in the basement as in the foster care system, and so together we came out of that basement together. And yes, so go ahead, Drew.
I just want to tell all the kids up there, keep your hands up, looking to the kickers. I gotta get out. I gotta get a shout out to Willie McGinnis at St. V.
Yeah, Willie at St. V, who runs the athletic department over there. He was part of the Fab Five with Romeo, LeBron, Drew, and
Boy, for everybody. Y'all know who it is, but I gotta give a shout out to Lisa Summers and Golden Wings, and without Lisa, I wouldn't have met Zeke.
yes, Lisa was the one who introduced us, for sure.
I overall the guy. I gotta thank my team. I gotta thank God for bringing me.
Tom, thank you for bringing Dre tonight.
Absolutely.
Can I tell people about my website?
Yes, sir, Dre.
My website is called Come Back Nick. What we do is, like, we go to the young youth and we kick them a ball, never giving up on their dreams. If they're locked in their own basement, they can get out of it.
Amen.
Absolutely.
No matter what you go through.
Brian, do you have any questions for Dre? Because let me first say this too. It was important for me to have Dre on this first show because, again, without Dre, there's no redemption story for me. I don't know where my life would have headed if our paths don't cross. And so when me and Brian were talking about doing a podcast, we were talking about having different guests, because me and Brian could get up here and talk and dance and rap and sing all night long. But we want to have guests. We want to be community driven. Justin Greer, Councilman Greer in the city of Barberton, he's going to join us next week. So we're going to have we have guests coming every week well into late March. And so if you'd like to come on the show, if you have a talent, if you have a business, if you want to come on and talk politics, religion, sports, you can get a hold of us via our email on the Crispin Park Podcast Facebook page, and we can have you on the show. Brian, do you have any questions you want to ask Dre off the rip?
I'm just fascinated by the whole story. You personally, I mean, how the two of you ended up together, and now that you're talking about with Kuntz and them, you know, they were from the neighborhood,
yeah,
in Belkey.
People don't know me and Zeke. It wasn't all peaches and cream.
Yeah, Dre said it wasn't all peaches and cream.
Right.
We fought like cat and dog.
Yeah, yeah. How I dealt with Dre. If the folks in that community that I worked with him, if they knew how I was dealing with him, they would have fired me.
Right.
But so we meet, and Lisa introduced us, and she says, hey, you know, you can make extra money by taking him out. Of course, I talk about this stuff in the book. And so oftentimes me and Dre would go to the mall, Summit Mall, and I'd be feeding him, and people would be staring and whispering and pointing, and I hated it.
Right.
So I thought, you know what, this ain't working out for me. I don't like this. But I love Dre, but I didn't like doing it.
Right.
So I thought, you know what, I was trying to get back into shape, You know, I was diabetic. I went through a hard time in prison. I had suffered a corneal abrasion while in prison. My health was just shit, man. It wasn't good. So I said, you know what, Dre? When I'm taking you out, when I would take him out, I was being paid to take him out. Right? So I said, we're going to start running. I'm going to push you. So we go to the old Norton track. Jay Belkey went with me the first time.
What up, Jay?
What's up, Jay Belkey? We love you. And so it was the second time that I pushed him there, though. I just wanted to get the hell out. I didn't want to be seen in public. The first time I ever went out in public after coming home from prison, I was the best man for my cousin Greg's wedding, and we went to, where did they have that party at? I think it's the Basement on Manchester Road. Is that what it's called?
Nicky Brady's.
Yes, and I ran into Jennifer Harm and Carrie Kenna.
Right.
And we took some photos, but I didn't want to go out. I just didn't. Tim Widener told me, he said, you may be coming home from prison, but you coming back into another prison, because no one wanted to see me.
Right.
Nobody wanted to see. No one was happy Zeke of Haiti was coming home.
Right.
They was like, you take your ass back to Haiti. I couldn't believe on the Akron Beacon Journal's article about my time in prison, the comments I saw on the computer, what people were saying about me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's brutal. So he says to me, he said, I love when we do this. Yeah, he felt like he was flying. And then he said, it makes me feel close to God. And I'm pushing him around this track. And yeah, and I literally, tears were flowing and I couldn't help myself.
Right.
So I spent the rest of that time pushing him, trying not to talk and trying not to listen to him because I was so moved emotionally. So after we got done running, I was sitting down and I said to him, just kind of like out of defiance, we ought to go run a marathon together. You know, like Dick and Rick Hoyt. Dre didn't know who the hell Dick and Rick Hoyt were.
Right.
Yeah. But, you know, I just said it kind of just to say it.
Now I do. Now I'm on the team.
Yes, Dre's part of the team Hoyt. And Dick and Rick Hoyt sent me and Dre a book, both of us. They sent us a book. Thank you to the Hoyts, living legends. The Hoyts really have... They've had one of the bigger impacts on the world of anyone who's ever lived in modern times.
Right.
Like the Hoyts, or Dick Hoyt on his own could have been a world-class athlete. And he's so humble. He's so humble. And his girlfriend, Kathy, they're just so, they always put Rick in the forefront, right? Rick's always and they're so humble. And I sent a book to Dick, and he's reading it now. Kathy said she was going to read it too.
Right.
And so I can't wait to get his opinion. I told Kathy, I said, hey, some of the stuff I wrote about, you're going to hate me. You're going to be mad. But keep reading, because there's a redemption side of the story, and the Hoyts have a lot to do with that.
Right.
Go ahead. You wanted to ask Ray something.
What did you push him in the first time?
Something like he has
Something
there.
like this.
Yeah, and it was terrible. And it tore up my hands.
Not the racing custom model.
Yeah.
No. It was
Yeah, and it was bad because I had to really grip it tight, and we're running in circles. That would lead us to running and working out in the Jar Arena, okay?
Right.
And upstairs in the Jar Arena, there's a track. Coach Dambrot would let us go in there and work out.
Good coach.
Coach D, yes, we love Coach D. He used to have Dre talk to the Akron Zip. Well, no, I think he got rid of Akron U. He went to Duquesne. Yeah. He dumped Akron U. I saw Coach Dambrot when he came home for the first time after leaving to go to Duquesne. I ran into him at the car. There's a Ford place in West Market in Fairlawn,
right.
And he was renting a car. He had just come back from Duquesne for the first time, and we talked. And I was renting a car to go to Rhode Island to visit Steve, the guy I was in prison with, and. You know, so we love Coach D, man. Like he's fantastic. He would have Dre talk to the team, guys like Humpty Hitchens, Zeke Marshall, Steve McNeese. We were there through all the years. When the McKnight brothers played. I mean, the Zips had really good teams. But that's what I wanted to bring this up, Dre. So when we first told people we were going to run a marathon,
right.
We said, "Oh, you're crazy. You guys can't." Because I'm not a runner.
Right.
Me and Dre aren't runners. We're ball players. You know what I'm saying?
Look at me.
You can tell by the shirt.
Look at me and look like, are you crazy?
So let me tell you this. We go to an Akron. Coach Dambrot So it would say, Zeke, Dre, anytime you guys wanted to come to the game, just call. I'll leave tickets at the office. So we went one night, and my brother Ben and Donnie Pavlik, one of my best friends, they're there at the game. And they what's up, Don? What's up, Ben? So they start talking mad shit to Dre and me. They said, y'all ain't running no marathon. Like, just giving it to Dre, just like we do in our own text threads, you know? And they really pissed Dre off. He was pissed. And I was like, okay, I like this because it gave us extra incentive to want to really do it.
Right.
I was like, okay.
Brian, I used to push Dre in the Jar Arena on Saturdays. We'd run 12 miles up at the top of the track. And afterwards, I would be like thinking to myself, I don't know how in the hell we're going to run 26.2. Because I was exhausted.
Cardi B, yeah.
I'm like, we gonna do it. We gonna do it.
Yeah, Dre's self-belief.
We gonna do it.
His self-belief. Like, I talked about it at one point, making sure Dre was worthy to do this with. That's how arrogant I was. And that's how mad I was at the world.
You started running 12, you would do 12 miles at a time indoors and then building your way up to the...
No, we weren't building anywhere because that's about my limit. I was gassed after that.
Right.
So we had only done 15 and a half miles ever before the real race.
He was so mad.
Oh, really? That's the furthest you went?
It's furthest we went.
He was so mad at me. I was like, dude, what complete is your problem, man?
Hey, so Georgianne Haviland, who I talk about in my book, she's the one who got us the chair.
Right?
And she won the Cleveland Marathon. I think it was in 1987 or 88. But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I always kind of looked at Georgianne with some contempt. One time she called me and she goes, I really think you should get somebody else to help you push Dre. Because she told me after the fact that she didn't think we were going to be able to do it. And she said, this is about Andre. It's not about you. It's about... And so as she's telling me this, I'm on the phone and I'm pissed. And I'm like, who does this chick think she's talking to, man? Like, no, hell no. It pissed me off.
Oh, yeah.
But it made me even more fired up to do it. So going into the race when we actually run the first marathon, I didn't know, what the hell was going to happen. I just knew that I was going to die before I left that course. So,
You want to go down one.
Yeah, not on
What's the length of the marathon?
26.2 miles.
26.2.
Yeah. But that sort of, again, I keep bringing up the fact that there's things I talk about in the book.
Right.
I don't know that Dre's even read the whole book yet.
Yeah.
Did you read did they read the whole book to you? Or did you read it? Who read it? Did Liz?
No. They actually want a copy of it.
Let me say, there was one time where we got into it. We got into it in the van a couple times where I'm cussing at him.
And I didn't like that guy.
I'm not even going to look it up. But one time we're in the van, and I just kind of had a problem with the Dre smiling all the time. He was always smiling. And I was still mad. I was angry at the world. And I was like, what the hell are you so happy about?
I'm like, why are you mad, man?
Yeah, he would ask me why I'm mad. I'm saying, why are you so damn happy? You in a wheelchair. You shouldn't be that damn happy, Dre. There can't be nothing fun about that.
I'm living my best life.
So we would argue just about stuff like that, and I wanted to push him. So he got mad one time and I said something to him. Yeah, he almost came. He goes, you mother effer. You're lucky I can't get out the shower. I'll kick your mother effer. And I said, but then I said, yeah, Brian, I said, yeah, but you ain't getting out of that chair, are you? Doesn't feel too good, does it? That's the scowl I want to see. I want to see that Kobe Bryant scowl, and you better show up come race day with that same scowl.
You will see. You will see.
So the building of that relationship where we were becoming teammates, giving each other a hard time, talking about subjects people, look on Facebook now.
Right.
You can't get on Facebook and discuss religion and politics and COVID. Everyone hates each other. Me and Dre were doing that every day in the van on the rides to and from work, going at each other.
Fighting.
Yes, fighting. Oh yeah. So that was special, and that made us closer together. But in this line of work, if they would have known I was talking to Dre like that, taking him out to run in the rain, in the hot sun, kind of building that chemistry, they'd have fired me.
I was a big butt too.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
We had he has a what is baby to you? Your nephew? Cousin. So he's got a cousin named Darian. Darian?
Yeah.
And Darian he's been at St. V and he's going to Akron U to play football.
Thank you, baby.
So Baby used to come. We used to take Baby to Akron U with us, and he'd bring, I don't know, a couple of his buddies, some of his friends. And so we would race them to get ready for the marathon. We would go out and race them, where we would race around the marathon track at the outdoor track at Akron. And we would let them go one at a time, and they would start cheating. So Baby was cheating. Him and the guys, they were cheating us, Dre.
My own cousin was cut me like, you go old, and you ain't got nothing.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll tell you.
You remember when we went inside to play ball in the jar one time, and I'm playing against Baby and a couple other kids he brought, and I was giving it to all three of them, and I was like, y'all better call Rome. I was like, y'all better call Rome, because you ain't good enough to beat me.
He bought my nephew.
Yeah, your nephew. Yeah. We had a good time. That was fun. That I remember that day, because that's Dambrot had you talk to the team. He had you talk to all the zips.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, that was special.
That day more like, and when you will always be a part of my life.
Yes, Akron U and St. V for sure. You got any other questions you want to ask him, Brian? Because I don't want to feel like I'm.
Well, I want to know. What I want to know is how after you did it the first time, then you ended up. You didn't do it again by yourself. You handed it off to what, 4 people?
No. Me and Dre went balls to the wall for like 4 years.
Oh, you guys did it more than once.
Oh yes.
Oh, I thought it was just the one time.
Yeah. No. We did a lot of marathons, and then that led to the Ironman triathlons. Yeah.
TV commercials.
Yeah, we were on billboards and the backs of buses.
Right. And now you divide it between what, 4 people?
No, it just came to where I ended up having to have a stress test done. I was having health issues. I got a brain tumor. Yeah, I got a brain tumor. I'm diabetic, and so it was hard for me. I talk about it in my book, how that came to an end, and so it worked out. Jeff Chalmers was supposed to be the guy that was going to take it over. Mm-hmm. Well, Jeff happened to be doing an Ironman in September of 2017, I believe it was. Yeah, and so it worked out to where these guys that I graduated with, Alan Bittinger, Brian Biddlingmeyer, Dean Jones, and Dwayne Milford. Yeah, fortunately, they were available to do this, because without them, Dre's marathon streak stops.
Right.
And helping keep Dre's streak alive. I keep hitting this damn thing on the table. Sorry about that. But so that's how that ended up playing. But then Bittinger was the one. He got involved with Brent Ransom and the Barberton Community Foundation, Brian Biddlingmeyer, all those guys. Right. They got Dre a Hoyt chair. I had nothing to do with that.
Oh,
that was all
where the
them.
Hoyt came from.
Yes, and Justin Greer, who we're going to have on the program next week. The first time I ever met him or saw him, he had a drone that he was flying when they brought that to Dre for a surprise for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, Justin Greer, shout out to you. We look forward to talking to you next week. But it's just been a team effort. And then again, like this, Dre was supposed to run the Akron Marathon back in September, the virtual Akron Marathon. Right. Well, because of scheduling, it didn't work out, and then it got pushed back, and then I think Milford got COVID, and then it got pushed back, and it kept getting pushed back. And so December rolls around, and I saw he still hadn't run yet. So I just started making texts. I just text a few people and phone calls, and before you know it, Brian Poland was the Akron Marathon race director when we did our first race. Yeah, and he was a rookie race director that year. That was his first year. And so he called me the night before the race, and I talk about it in my book, and it was just so special. And ever since then, he's been so good to us. Right. And he's just... Brian Poland is a winner. He's what you call a winner. Like Jeff Chalmers, same thing. These guys are just winners. Yeah. Real athletes. Yes, and they're humble. They're all humble. Dre's humble. Poland's humble. Chalmers is humble. They're all humble guys, man.
See, we trying to get Zeke that way, but
Yeah.
it ain't never gonna work.
Dre said they're trying to get me humble that way, but I don't know if that's ever going to work, Hastings.
No.
And, let me say this live, too. Paul Howe, Tim Stoltz, when y'all officiate my funeral, y'all better come to dance. Y'all better walk that aisle. I want to hear 2 claps and a Ric Flair. there better be a lot of cheering and laughing and dancing at my funeral. I don't want to hear anyone crying. Don't come whining for me. Don't come crying at my... If you're going to come crying at my funeral, take your ass the hell out of there.
We got some questions popping up on here.
Okay. We got some questions. Chris, if you got some questions, let us know what they are and we'll talk it. Because me and Dre could talk all night.
Here.
What we got here? Ryan Mulrick says, what's Dre's favorite race y'all ever competed in? Favorite race? Think about it. You got to think about it. Ever. Like all the races you've done.
Number 1 is Columbus.
So number 1 is Columbus. The Columbus Marathon we did? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
How long was that?
Well, this is 26.2 miles. When we went down, my right ankle was killing me. I could barely walk.
I haven't done that many laps. I don't. And Megan was asking about my laps. I hold the door open for people so they walk a little faster. That's my contribution to fitness.
I'm still looking for Darius Blackford. He's the race director at Columbus, and when we I talk about it in the book. But Darius, I'm still looking for you.
I just want to thank you for, put me in the back, but not with what I'm at.
Right on.
So there's a story to that. So we had just run the Akron Marathon, and Dre wanted to go to Columbus because he had never been in the Horseshoe where the Buckeyes play. And so I tried to get us in the...
And that's my favorite thing of all.
Yeah, that's his favorite team of all time, the Ohio State Buckeyes. So I'm trying to see if we can't get into the Columbus Marathon because it's sold out.
Right.
So Georgianne Haviland, between Georgianne Haviland and Brian Poland, I got Darius's number.
Georgianne gave me my bike. She called me to come back home with acting, so I did.
Yeah.
Really?
I just want to thank Georgianne for giving me my first lesson kid.
Yeah, Georgianne handled getting Dre his first chair.
Well, I want to be on this podcast.
Right.
And when I be gone, I want to be on this podcast.
So you've been through 2 chairs now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've done a lot of races, man.
We darn.
Yeah. But so Darius Blackford gave us the opportunity to run Columbus and to be able to go in the Horseshoe. We go into the Horseshoe. Script Ohio's playing, and me and Dre are both in tears. It's incredible.
Right.
So tell them about it, Dre.
Yo, we just do the first mile, right? And I had picked the top, right? The thing was like that, and they had the gate open, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking and going, like, but the fucking kid, Mama, I'm begging. You know, it's like, if you ever make that winning cut down, that was my winning cut down.
Right. Heck yeah. You got in the shoe.
And when I go to Boston, that's gonna be my Super Bowl. Like everybody says New York is the best, but I want to be like kicking with the Boston. They live in Boston, so I hope to meet them when I go to Boston. So I can.
What season is the Boston Marathon ran in?
April.
April?
Yeah.
So Elizabeth and Lisa, both of them asked similar questions. They were saying, what is my favorite moment with you? And so that's hard because,
everything.
yeah, you know what? It really is. I got something in my throat, so I'm coughing. But this is the best moment I ever had with Dre, probably. So we're at St. V. We're speaking to the freshman classes. Mr. Dave Degas, shout out to Mr. Dave Degas because Dave is always good to us. But we're in this big conference room, and it's a few weeks before I'm about to go swim San Francisco Bay.
Right.
It's the playoff run, and I had just worked J.R. Smith's basketball clinic a couple months earlier with Robbie Haught.
I saw that.
Shout out to Robbie and the Haught family. So we're in there, and the kids are asking questions, and Dre figured it to be a good time to tell all of them that I was rooting for Steph Curry and the Warriors. They booed me the hell out of that place. It was incredible. Like I felt like Kobe Bryant on the road. You know, they were booing me. Yeah, it was incredible.
This ain't no Steph Curry podcast. It's not.
And if you remember back during those days, guys like Ryan Mulrick and Jim Six and Paul Brapson and everybody, we would always be talking about Steph. Tim Robertson, we'd be talking about Steph on Facebook, you know.
Oh, there was threads with literally hundreds of comments.
Yeah, Dre's got that LeBron James 23 Lakers.
I see the I saw the jersey immediately.
You know what? We always do. We win championships.
Yep.
That's all we do.
Dre was actually on the Beacon Journal, a picture of him on the Beacon Journal in a LeBron James Heat jersey number 6. And so everywhere LeBron goes, he has that jersey. He's always, and I'm always giving him grief.
Right.
Hey, LeBron with me, the first break I ever did, he was like, yo, bro, he's like, all we do is don't win that race for me. You know? And I told him, I said, since you left Akron, I'm a new kid to Akron, okay?
Another special moment, Dre, I wanted to tell everybody about. This was a Travis family special moment that the first marathon we ran, we get up at the top of North Howard Street. And if anyone knows Akron, North Howard is a big street going down. And so baby Darian was up the hill. He found us up the hill. It was about mile 12. And he ran with us. And when we got all the way down at the bottom of the hill, all the Travis family was there. Yeah. All the cousins. I mean, and the media was there. They were taking pictures. It was just really cool.
Right.
And unfortunately, Romeo couldn't be there because he was overseas playing ball somewhere. Yeah, Rome. I went to Rome's house one time with Robbie Haught, because Robbie was working Rome out a lot. And Rome gave me a pair of shorts that he had worn in the Philippines for a professional team over there to give to Dre so Dre could wear them in an Ironman we did. So that was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, no, tonight we wanted to have Rome on just to talk about how special the Travis family is in Akron. The athletes they produce. There's good people. Your wife knows Rome's mom.
Yeah.
You know, so... So I just wanted to, again, without the Travis family, there's no redemption story for me.
Right.
So I feel like I'm in debt to them.
Hey, I just want to tell everybody, I'm doing this for, everybody. My grandma kept me humble, and I just want to remain that way.
Yeah, Dre's humble, and he's just really. If anyone's watching this and you want, I don't know if you're a church leader, a school teacher, I don't know if you got anything going on, and you want someone to come do some public speaking to motivate your people, your children. Andre Travis does this for a living, and he's really good at what he does. If I had a nickel for every time someone came up to us and said, "Hey, you have changed my life," I would be a rich man. I mean, it's incredible. Traveling with Dre is like being with the Beatles. Because everywhere in Ohio we go, people know him.
They know him, yeah.
It's incredible. It's really incredible.
And me and She literally hates when I go out with her because everybody got me.
Yeah, if him and Liz go out on a date, they everyone's trying to take Dre away, like
Right.
take his time from her. You know, they're out
Right.
doing something.
She didn't really want me to mention her on the podcast. She's like, I'm gonna kill you if you mention me on the podcast.
Well, Dre, let's never forget that in I think it was June of 2017, he got really ill. Like could have died ill, pneumonia. You know, people die of pneumonia all the time. He had pneumonia. He was in the hospital like the whole summer. And Elizabeth Schrack, she was so huge, and Karen Gonadikis too. Karen was big for Dre because they would go to the hospital and visit him. I took Diana up. Me and Diana would go visit Dre. But it was for a while. You know, it could have gone either way. He had to fight through that all summer. It was incredible.
Let me tell you something. If I didn't have, if I didn't have my wife, I wouldn't have made it. I tell her that all the time, but if it wasn't for her and God and Lisa and everybody that grow and win, I would be.
Yeah, that's the thing about Dre. As humble as he is, it's humbling to watch him do that.
Absolutely.
You know.
Really saved my life. I was like in the basement. I almost lost my life. Like people don't understand.
Right. They were there for you though.
When Dre was in like the foster care system, he on one occasion he ended up where he spent a lot of his time in a basement, and just by himself.
Right.
And so you can imagine if a child who's 8, 9, 10 years old, whatever, is by themselves in a basement, able-bodied.
Right.
Dre, is not able to walk and do all this. So that sort of, I got a small taste of that. Just in prison in Haiti, just a small taste of that. And so that kind of made me and Dre come together and build a relationship, and
what I'm doing right now is like, I come my wife, I call Lisa, I go Lisa the other day when she called me. I can't believe I made it this far.
I have a hard time comprehending what was he doing in the basement to start with.
Well, so oftentimes, people who do foster care,
right?
They take in kids who aren't theirs, and a lot of them, maybe their intention is the well-being of the child more than the money,
like milking the system, basically. Really?
Yeah, kind of. So they take care of basic needs, and So I mean, that's
Jesus Christ.
So so Dre, being that he can't use his arms and legs, that's a tough deal,
right?
I'm gonna be real honest with you. A lot of them foster parents buy cars, buy new Cadillacs, get new hair guns, new glasses. Get them to the crap about.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, and of course, it's not everybody who does foster care.
Right,
There's some good foster care parents,
Yeah, of course. But the one I had, good guy is, okay. I went to see it with me before. I used to go back every summer on the west side of Athens. 1085 Hartford Avenue. I would go back and show her what I made her, what I was making of myself. I feel like that was my vindication.
Right. Good for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She died in 2019.
She passed away in 2019.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I never, my father got like the third guy in 2002. He would call me every day and check up on me. But they didn't tell me that he got until 18 days later that he was gone and died. I was like,
Yeah, Dre's had a lot of adversity. Like, for example, and his father's been in prison for a long time. So you can imagine, like, at every turn, he's had adversity.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to Dre's dad.
Mojo.
So he's had adversity at every turn. So when we talk to young people, we say, you see what Dre's been through.
Right.
And you're able-bodied. You can do anything. You can get up and run and jump and do all these things. Never make excuses.
Right.
Look at Dre. If Dre can do it, y'all can do it.
On my own music artist, on my own music and a freaking company, on my own website, you know.
Heck yeah.
I'm a poet and I like my own R&B music.
Your story's too big to tell in one
Yeah,
podcast.
it really is. He could have, he could have his own book, like best-selling book.
Right.
Like he really could.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. I feel as though, and I may be a little biased, but when you look at the Hoyt tree, like the Dick and Rick Hoyt tree, there are people, Keith Russell and his daughter over in England. There are people who have done what Dick and Rick Hoyt, they set a standard, but a lot of people try to do what they do, running marathons or doing triathlons, pushing somebody in a wheelchair. So I think nobody has done it like with the excitement as like me and Dre have.
It's not easy getting up at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it's the race mornings aren't fun, but that's why I think
I bet they're not.
I think Jeff Chalmers has the potential to do great things with Dre going forward at like the Dick and Rick Hoyt level, possibly not as great as Dick and Rick, but maybe close.
But I do it because I love it, and it gives me opportunity. I got to meet some of the greatest athletes in the world.
Right. What?
I always say everybody's lucky Dre can't use his legs because he would be way too much if he could.
And Zeke Marshall is one of them, along with Romeo, Zeke, and all them guys. I talked to that and asking you, I owe them a lot. Cause they brought me into that circle when
Yeah.
I got my own niche.
Right.
They never got who I was. I'm gonna always be like a brother to them.
Let me say this, Dre. Dre is such a fierce competitor. Like you would never. I'm telling you, 17 degrees back at the end of December.
Right.
When Poland ran the marathon with him. 17 degrees.
It was cold.
26.2 miles. He's so ferocious. And so a lot of people they'll see Dre and they feel sorry for him. And I'm like, don't feel sorry for him. He don't want your pity because he would destroy you.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna tell you something. The only thing I took off was my hat. That's the only thing I took off.
Yeah.
You got a little overheated.
No, his mask. The mask on his face.
Oh.
Let me say this, Dre, going back to what Lisa and Liz were asking.
Okay.
This might have been the biggest moment me and Dre ever had where I really pushed him. So we're getting ready to do an Ironman, right? And all of a sudden he starts having cold feet. And I could tell that What it really was is he was scared of the water.
Right.
He didn't want to get in that water.
I had to.
And he had some of his personal aides kind of, saying, hey, I don't think that's such a good idea. Mm-hmm. So I talk about it in my book. We get into it in the van, and I start calling him everything in the book, and I'm ripping him. And he's got tears, and he's crying, and I'm calling him everything, And I said, we're going down to the bleepity bleep YMCA in Barberton this Saturday. You get Wanda on the phone, and we're going. Right. And I forced him to get into the therapy pool at the Barberton YMCA. And he loved it.
Right. Did you?
Days before, he was terrified. He wanted no part of getting in the water. And I said, Dre, I've been training for months. I'm scared too.
Right.
I'm scared too, bro. Well, let's be scared together. And so when I pushed him in that sense, like if I would have just let it go, that would have been the end of everything.
How did you do that? The water part? You pushed or pulled?
I had like a harness around me, and he was in a raft, and I was pulling him along.
Right.
It was like 100 competitors.
Yeah, and those Ironman swims are no joke, man.
I bet.
I had people hitting me and kicking me. So Dre's in the boat in Lake Michigan, and the Lake Michigan's like the ocean.
Right, yeah, might as well be.
Yeah.
I felt like Rocky.
He felt like Rocky, he said.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No, we had a chance to go on the road, different hotels, whether it's Columbus, Indiana, Michigan. I mean, just different places, and compete like real athletes.
What's the price tag on one of those chairs, the racing chair?
Well, the grocery basket's like $650. The Hoyt chair is like $5,000.
Is that what the Hoyt is really?
Yeah. So it's a big difference. A big difference in speed too.
It's 3 wheels.
Yes. Yeah. The five. Yeah. Both of them are 3 wheels. Yeah.
I named it
What'd you call the other one? Grocery basket?
It's like a grocery basket. It's old school.
Right.
I named it the Barberton, the maggot, the purple lightning.
Purple Lightning. You talking about the new chair?
Yeah.
Let me fix your damn headphone.
Yeah.
The Hoyt is the slimline one, right? That's your newest one.
That's what baby.
Yeah, the Hoyt. Yeah, the Hoyt chair is it's a really great chair.
That's what baby. That's what baby. That's what new Cadillac.
I said it's
His PR was in that chair with Jeff at Youngstown, and they ran a 317, I think. Here in December with Poland, they did like a 321 and change in the old one, and not in ideal conditions. So it had back in December when they ran, there been no snow and no ice, and it wasn't slick, and they were doing it on a course that wasn't closed, so they had to be more careful, and they stopped a couple times to tend to Dre, but they could have smashed his PR.
I had my aunt Erica. She was on one of my boots that I ran in the marathon with. She was like, "Hey, great people, I see you." Ah!
Why is it such a ridiculous price to put somebody in a chair like that?
Well, I mean,
I can't. I'm trying to picture it in my mind of what could make a $5,000, but like a scaled down bicycle. Essentially.
I mean,
I just can't. I can't fathom why it's so expensive.
I don't know. I know, but it's a good chair, though.
Right. Oh, I bet it is.
It's really
A
fast.
lot better than pushing the other one.
You can ask Jeff Chalmers, and he'll be here. Jeff Chalmers will be here on March 11th.
Does it ride smoother too?
It's like no air.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's a good 10-minute faster at least than the other chair. At least 10 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
It's like no air.
Yeah. So
It's like floating on clouds, man.
I think Dre and Jeff are supposed to run Toledo this year. I think. I'm not sure on how that's working out, but I'd have to ask Jeff. Jeff will be on here March 11th, so we can ask him and talk to him about that.
If you ever want me to come back, can let me know.
Oh, we'll have you back. Hopefully, we'll be here long enough.
We have any more questions from the audience, Brian? Do you have any many questions from the audience?
I don't know. Let's see here. I'm getting caught up in the story.
A lot of people do.
We're hoping to, as we go forward, we're going to update our equipment, our cameras, have different camera angles, have tighter shots.
Look at
We're all rookies doing
look,
this.
Look. That's right. We got all this equipment, and we're just figuring out how to use it.
Yeah. So Rich Getz says, I grew up with Rich. Rich said,
Oh, Richie.
Rich said, Dre, could you speak a little bit about how you have kept faith in the face of your struggles? Your faith and your grit is amazing.
Thank you.
So what's made you be able to keep your faith in all the adversity?
Honestly, my grandma raised me before I went into
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother is an organic minister, so I always had God. I used to come to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
All right.
If you weren't in that Bible, even when I moved out on my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
She made you stick with it.
used to go out having fun when I was younger.
Yeah, Dre was baptized in Lake Anna.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Lake Pastor Elliott.
Yeah, the pastor that baptized him died in a car wreck. It was in a car accident?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
From
He was like a pot.
I think I had been to church with at his place one time with you. We had gone together once.
He was like my father figure I never had, but he took me on the bus. He rented a bus, and I went all the way to Louisville, Kentucky,
mm-hmm.
because I was in the choir. It was,
Oh, you were in the choir.
yeah.
Oh, Dre's a spiritual leader. Like every time we raced, we always have to pray before the race. The Barberton Herald, what was his name? Rich something. He was a photographer for the Herald. I can't remember his name.
Oh, I know.
His one photo of us on the front page of the Herald was us circling Dre, Biddlingmeyer, Biddinger, Jones, Milford, me, and Dre was praying when he
Right.
took that shot. That was on the front page of the Barberton Herald.
So it was like, even though I didn't want to be, I always got God in my, I always do God. I'm an R&B artist by trade, but I do all kinds of music. I make my own beats, you know.
Dre, let me answer these questions. So Tim Widener, if you've read my book, you know about my relationship with Tim. Tim said, wait, what about Muncie? So when we did our first Ironman triathlon, I ended up, because of my arrogance,
Right.
I took a mountain bike.
Say it ain't so.
I took a mountain bike. And I took a mountain bike to pull him with, and no clip pedal shoes. So
Stop it.
it shut down my legs after we got through with the bike, and I couldn't continue on the run. And I was vomiting, and it was the worst. And Dre was pissed. Dre's looking at me like, I ain't leaving here till I get my medal. I don't know about you, Jack. He was so mad. And he deserved so much better than me because, again, my arrogance tripped me up.
Right.
You know?
I got a book. Okay. Mind you, I'm on the back of the bike, and
Which race? Which race? Muncie or Michigan?
Monkey.
Muncie?
Shout out to Monkey.
Muncie, Indiana.
He was having a time of it that day. He said,
And yeah.
It was windy out there in Indiana, bro. It was like pulling a parachute in the wind. Yeah. We were riding through cornfields out there.
you weren't leaving without that medal.
Oh, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
The bike
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know it, but the Bible given over. I'm like, oh shit.
Right, is that as you were losing your legs?
Well, one time in Michigan, we're going down a hill, and we were doing 30 miles an hour, but that was only because I was braking hard. Like,
Right.
we could have been going a lot faster, and that can be dangerous.
Right, oh yeah.
It was thinking like, I was thinking in the back like,
I was already a bloody mess because we had fallen earlier in the race. Oh yeah, I didn't put a whole lot of work into the bike for those races.
Right.
it was only for a minute. Oh, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? 1 minute call, one time, man.
We actually went to do a 100-mile race right up at Edgewater in Cleveland, right on Lake Erie. We got 55 miles in, but my body shut down. I was suffering from rhabdo, and I had just had my tumor. I was diagnosed with a tumor in my head, and then I was suffering from rhabdo. It's in my book, Brian. You have to.
I know.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you. You got to look. You got to read the book because every time I keep answering you, you're never going to read the book.
I know. I'm going to read the book.
You got to read. Dre, even Dre said you have to read the book.
I just got it in March.
Come on. Yeah. You've only had it
on my birthday.
Yeah.
March 19th.
Come on,
I've had
brother.
it since March.
Brian keeps asking me questions that are all in the book.
Right. It's really embarrassing. I'm glad
great.
he pointed that out.
Well, let me remind everybody, we're going to have Barberton City Councilman Justin Greer on next Thursday night at 7.
Talk a little politics.
Yeah, Barberton politics. I can't wait. I can't wait. Love Justin. We're going to have him live.
Absolutely.
Dre, do you have any last words you want to leave with the people of Barberton, the great people of Barberton?
And the great people of Barberton, I really want to work on bringing a marathon to Barberton.
Well, I think you need to talk to Alan Bittinger about that.
Come on,
Yeah. Come on, Alan. We got to have Alan on the show.
Yeah,
Alan's kind of being the voice of the Jeep Davis 5K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely got to get him on.
We gotta give the people what they want.
That's right. Give
That's
the
right.
people what they want.
We're going to do that.
Woo!
On the 25th of this month, I think, February 25th, that's a Thursday, 7 p.m., we're going to have Kobe Fair Jr., the Don. And we love some Kobe Fair Jr. He's
Right.
as tough as they come. And I think what he's going to do when he's done fighting, it looks like he's going to transition into being like a trainer. He was live that night where Conor McGregor fought in Dubai here a couple weeks ago. So
Conor McGregor got
yeah, he got put to sleep.
got out with my boy Conor McGregor, but he's not.
Paul Brapson, Glenn Bixler. I just wanted to say shout out to you guys.
Right.
Chris Eisen, thank you. The Crispin Park Podcast, Chad Hazard, Joe Ondo, Dan Donnelly. Podcast. We're gonna be coming live to you guys every Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Every
and
Thursday.
again, going forward, we're gonna be available on different platforms, and we're gonna update the cameras in here. We're gonna have some better shots. The quality of the camera is
We
gonna
got
be
a
a lot
little
better.
more work to do yet.
Yes.
We're getting there. For rookies, anyway.
Yeah, rookies.
Make all y'all doing.
Make sure you guys tune in.
Make all y'all doing.
We're green. We're gonna put on a show. We're gonna walk that aisle every time.
Sometimes it might be an hour. Sometimes it might be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know.
Well, the questions we got for Justin Greer, we may be here 2 hours next week.
Could be. Could be. There's a lot going on in the big city of Barberton.
Hey, got up the bottom.
We're going to get to the bottom of all of it.
Moses, Spartacus, Diana Zipporah. Love you guys. Love you, Weasley.
Love you, nephew.
Hi, Chris Berg. Hi,
Yeah,
Karen.
hi, Chris.
Hi, Karen Gonadikis.
I can.
Shiloh.
What up?
Let me say hi to Ricky Conrad and Jen North, and also
Ricky.
Ricky's two sons, Ricky Jr. and Landon. Those are my guys.
Malrick.
Ryan Mulrick, yes sir. Ryan Mulrick's dad's a legend.
Richie
Barberton
Getz.
legend.
Oh,
Now, when
man.
we're gonna have, hey, listen, we are gonna have Joe Sarge on. The date has not been set, but Joe Sarge will come and dance. He will give you his best Ric Flair. Trust me, Joe Sarge is coming.
Oh, I gotta do.
You want to take us out? Come on. Where's our insane in the membrane music? Come on, Chris.
Come on.
Who's running the camera?
Who's running the
the
camera?
music? Let's go.
We don't have the music because we couldn't switch it over because I didn't have a disc to put it in, or a whatever the hell it's called, to put it in the computer to swap it over. So next week we'll be playing that custom made tune from our buddy.
Sir. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, Barberton. Good night.
Good night, you guys. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless. Thanks for coming, Dre.